Hi, these are the key terms for the chapter on focusing a research project. Your research project for your final paper is already focused since you have a very specific assignment to use interviews to compare the experiences of two older people and two younger people about the history of their experience about your topic. But we're looking at the broader picture of what qualitative research is, and so we proceed with these key terms. You might consider starting your interviews by asking the person, as is suggested in this chapter, so tell me the story of what happened. How did you get involved with this topic? However, we will go into questions at great length at a later time, so do not worry about that. Ethnography, key term, possibly will appear on a quiz. Ethnography puts together two different words. Ethno means folk, and graph derives from writing. So ethnography is social scientific writing about particular folks. You're going to be doing ethnography for your final paper. You're not going to be doing conversation analysis, which is covered extensively in this chapter, but I do want you to know what it is. It's a qualitative approach based on an attempt to describe people's methods for producing orderly talk and interaction. How do people, you analyze how they create their social worlds through looking at the words they give you. That's different than what you're going to do, which is simply getting people's stories. Conversation analysis was pioneered by Harvey Sachs in the early 1990s, 1992. Ethnomethodology is the study of folk methods or people's methods. It seeks to describe the methods people use to construct their social life. The textbook says it's a theoretical model, not a method, and to which I respond, huh? Don't worry. Inductive research you will be using. You're going to base your work on the study of 4 particular cases rather than deriving something from a grand theory. Inductive research is research based on the study of particular cases. You're always striving to provide credibility, and credibility in a sociological context is the extent to which any research claim has been shown to be based on evidence. Your evidence will be in your interviews. Participant observation is really fun, but again, not something that you particularly have to do for this paper. It's a method that assumes that in order to understand the world firsthand, you have to actually participate in it, rather than just stand off at a distance and observe everybody. This was pioneered in the United States at the University of Chicago, the so-called Chicago School in the 1920s, and then adopted by sociologists en masse, one of the most wonderful techniques. And the idea is you get out into the world and you use your eyes and your ears, or as one of my teachers said, wear out some shoe leather. And I don't even know if you even have leather on the bottoms of your shoes anymore, so that might not be relevant. But the idea is you really get out there and you walk around and you find out and you feel and you smell and you taste and you touch and you see and you gather data using your senses. Wonderful, wonderful practice. Wonderful qualitative method. Field notes. Whoops, need to put field notes in there. Sorry about that. Boop, boop. Field notes, sometimes one word, sometimes two, are records of observations and speech fragments arising from the field. So please do, when you go to interview, bring a pen and paper. It's old school technology, but your phone is going to be occupied recording. So while your phone's recording, stuff happens all around you, and you can take notes. It's old school, but it's incredibly effective to provide a thick description, a rich description of what happens in the interview, which will help your paper. Extensive analysis, it's not what it sounds like. Intensive analysis is what you're going to be doing. You're going to focus in on those 4 interviews. Extensive analysis, sociologically speaking, is searching through your whole data set to test hypotheses generated by the analysis that you would do of your cases that you gathered. You're not going to do much extensive analysis for this paper. I will cover it all. You will not be surprised. You may want to use a pseudonym for any or all of the people you interview. They may request that they have a pseudonym, which is a fake name. And I'll show you how to do that later on. Give them a fake name. They can choose one. Exploratory. What does that mean sociologically? Your research with a small sample of 4 people is meant to be exploratory rather than definitive. You don't have enough cases to be definitive, but you're providing an in-depth description of what you gather in your research. You're not going to come up with categorical truths. You're going to rather start the process of looking at your topic sociologically, and that has dignity and is a wonderful thing to do. I'm going to blather on about a few other things that are of interest. It should only take me a minute. Sally's comments in the chapter, she says that she had recorded an hour of tape and it took her 10 hours to transcribe it. So you're going to be recording half an hour. If you transcribed it, it would take you a really long time. Do not do it. I do not ask you to transcribe. I just ask you to provide a copy of the recording so I can listen to it. We'll go into this in great depth later in class. Sally also talks about the nightmare of interviewing someone someplace that's really noisy. Try to find a quiet place to interview your person so your tape is easy to hear, because you're going to listen to the tape and use comments from the tape to write your paper. That's different from transcribing the whole thing, which is writing out the entire text of the entire interview. Silverman's concluding remarks in this chapter, his suggestions, are pretty wise. I especially like his idea of beginning in familiar territory, starting to interview people that you know. And also, this idea of narrowing down your topic can be helpful. We'll talk more about that in class. Thank you, class, and have a great day.